everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Katie, and in this class we're going to look at some of our side plank variations. I love side plank. It's used a lot as a transition from pose to pose, but it also creates stability in your practice. If we can tap into the strength in our obliques, in the core, then that stability we find in our practice also we can take into our daily lives as well. There's loads of variations of side plank so that we can level up or level down the intensity of the shape, how strong we are, and also kind of what physicality we're working with when we get to the mat. So we're going to start off with the softer variations and how we tune into that part of the body. And then we will look at a few more of the stronger variations if you feel you have it in you. And if not, just give it a go, see what happens. So I hope you enjoy this video, guys. Short and sweet, side plank variations. Let's get it done. So we're going to start in tabletop. We're just going to do a short warm-up for the wrists first. Most of side plank for this video we'll be doing on our hands, but if you have any wrist problems, any wrist injuries or sensitivities, you can do all of these on your forearms instead, totally fine. So coming to tabletop to begin with, just onto your hands and knees, and just bring the index finger to 12 o'clock, hands under shoulders, hips over knees, keeping the arms nice and straight. Just start to make some circles with the shoulders, 360 degrees around the hands. Doesn't matter which direction, because we'll do both ways. So just wanting to kind of wake up the wrists, warm up the wrists ahead of the load bearing that they will be doing in our side plank. So when you feel ready for it, just change direction, move in circles the other way. And then bring it back to the middle. From here, we're going to swivel the fingers to face outwards, so your wrists are facing each other. Little push of the upper back towards the sky, slight doming through the spine, and then just gently swaying side to side. So you're just shifting the weight from knuckles to knuckles. Introducing a little bit of pressure into the wrists. Lovely. Bringing it back to center. We swivel the hands now all the way around so your fingers face your knees just as much as you can. Tuck under your toes at the back. Little micro bend through the elbows, especially if you know you're hyperextensive here. And this is a really nice stretch for the back of the wrists. Just start to sink your hips down towards your heels. So you can either leave the heels of your palms on the ground or you can lift them up to get a little bit more of a stretch into the hands and the fingers as well. Just whatever feels kind of okay for your hands, for your wrists. Really nice one to release the forearms here. One more breath. And gently come forwards, undo the hands, untuck the toes, just sit on your heels and we shake off the wrists. Get a little more fluid in the joints, wake them up a little bit. Wiggle the fingers, interlace the hands and roll them around, whatever feels good. Alrighty, so just to get into our body to begin with, we're going to take child's pose just to wake up the hips a little bit. So open up through the knees, let the hips sit back and down, and let's reach the arms as far forwards as you can. Let the head drop towards the floor and just enjoy a few breaths here. And try and make this a little active. So you're pressing into all 10 fingertips, kind of actively trying to press your sitting bones towards your heels. Inhaling for 3 more breaths. Take one more inhale, really push down into your hands. Feel that compression through the hips. And then gently downward facing dog. Rise up, plug your hands to the floor, tuck under the toes, and lift the hips. Keep the feet maybe nice and wide to begin with. Have a little pedal out through the heels, bend and stretch through the knees. Just an opportunity to get into the calves and the hamstrings, to wake up the rest of the body. When you're ready, perhaps arriving into stillness, actively pressing the heels down, belly button draws to spine, arms are nice and long. Take a nice big inhale here. And exhale. So our first variation, move forwards into plank and just bring your knees to the ground. Come back to tabletop. Our first variation, also known as gate pose. So this is a really nice way to stretch out the side body and start to introduce that strength. So from here, left leg goes back and we just spin the left heel to the floor. Send your right toes off your mat to the right hand side and just stretch your left arm all the way to the sky and then into a little rainbow. So this is a really nice supported variation that you can arrive in when you ever need to during a flow, and side plank is an option given. Feel that stretch down the left side of the body, and you want to feel a little pinch in the right hand side as well. So you're actively trying to send the left hip up. A nice option from here, if you're ever in this pose, make this a little bit stronger. Perhaps explore lifting your underneath leg up and gluing it to the top leg. Press down into the sole of the foot, and this will just switch on those obliques, those right obliques. Hold it here for 3, 2, and 1. Right knee comes back to the floor. We return left hand to the ground. Let's do that on the other side. Back to tabletop. Swapping sides. Right leg goes long. Right heel to floor. Left toes turn out. Right arm reaches all the way up and over. And you really want to actively send the outer hip towards the sky. Start to squeeze into the left side of the waist. Nice big stretch. Again, option to stay here, or for a little more intensity, can you lift up this left leg, hugging it to your top thigh? Squeezing through the left side of the ribs. Hold it. We stay for 3. Holding it here for 2. Nice. And 1. Drop that left knee to the floor. Bring the right hand to the ground and return to tabletop. Nice work, guys. Okay, moving into downward facing dog. So that's a really nice soft variation. A variation that you might come across quite often in your practice is another supported version. So sweep the left leg to the sky and just enjoy a big stretch through the legs. Take a nice big inhale. And as you exhale, step the left foot outside your left hand and just come into your lizard pose. And just spend a few moments here, a little bounce of the hips, get into the legs. So a lot of the time our side plank is used as a transition, perhaps towards Wild Thing and some other shapes. This might be one that is a good option for you if you're still building that core and arm strength. From here, let's send the left arm up to the sky, find a twist. You're then going to roll your back foot onto the little toe edge, the blade, all the way so the outside of your right foot is on the ground. Focusing now on the front foot, lift your toes so you're plugging the heel bone into the floor. You rotate the toes outwards. This is probably a little bit tight for the outer hip. So you step that outer foot to the midline, into the middle. From there, you start to squeeze the right side of the body. Again, outer hip is going up, 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 and you find your rainbow. So you want to make sure that you're just on the blade of your back foot. Notice if your ankle bone is on the floor. Can you tighten that right leg so you're really lifting the underneath? Everything is coming from the floor upwards. Options to add in a little more power work here, guys. We dip the right outer hip towards the floor, squeeze those obliques and lift it. Give me 2 more of those. Dip it down, push into your left foot and lift. 1 more, dip it down and push the floor away. Yes, good. Roll back to plank. Step that left foot to the back of the mat, downward dog. Hips go high, good work. So we try that on the other side. Right leg goes up, nice big stretch between the legs, inhale. Exhale, right foot outside, right hand, find your lizard pose. Little moment here to open up through the hips and the legs. Make sure your left hand is right under the shoulder so you're stacking your bones. Send the right arm to the sky, find your twist. We roll onto the blade, little toe edge of the back foot. We lift the front toes, pivot them outwards. Step the right foot then to the middle, and you're facing completely sideways. You squeeze the underneath side of the body to lift the hips up and create that rainbow shape. Nice and tight. Make sure this right shoulder is rolling open and you're breathing into the top ribs. Option again to stay here, or you might add in those little dips. Outer hip drops to the floor, press into your feet, squeeze the side body to lift. 2 more. Go down, squeeze and lift, push, and again. Good job. Bring it back to plank, downward dog. Right hand to the floor and just step your right leg to the back of the mat. At any point, guys, if you need to take child's pose, feel free just to come to knees and take a rest, just to let go of the wrists. So we're building intensity in our side plank variations now. So next up, taking it from supported side plank into kind of a more classical side plank shape. Downward facing dog. Feet are together at the back of the mat. Bring the big toes side by side. Start to roll the shoulders forward so you find high plank. Again, these can all be done on your forearms. Bring your right hand underneath your face. Make sure shoulder is over wrist. Keeping the feet together, start to swivel until your right blade of foot hits the floor. As you twist, left hand goes up to the sky, side plank. Couple of things to notice, guys. This left hip might want to peel open, peel back behind you. Try and keep it square, stacked on top. Option could be to create that rainbow shape, so you're really activating that pinch in the right side of the body. And one thing that might help if you want a little more intensity is if you look at your feet, just bring your big toes to touch and create maybe an inch gap between your heels. Try and make it super strong, guys. Hold it here for 10. 9, yes. 8, 7, 6, hips square. 5, strong outer body. Hold it. 3, yes. 2, and 1. Come to plank. Good work. We go straight to the other side, feet together. Left hand under left shoulder. Roll onto your left little toe edge. Send the right hand to the sky. Find your rainbow. Squeeze the left side of the body. Feel that pinch. Watch this right outer hip. Has it fallen behind you? Bring it square. Maybe if you want to, big toes together, split the heels an inch. What that does is helps wrap the inner thighs inwards so you can maintain control on this right outer hip. Find that rainbow shape. Rib cage, hips up to the ceiling. Nice and square. Hold it. 10, 9, 8, strength. Keep going. 6, 5, don't put it down. 4, 3, yes. 2, and 1. Well done. Plank, drop the knees, child's pose. Yes, guys, good work. Relax the arms, relax the wrists, maybe even shake it off. Okay, we've got 2 more options. Building that intensity. Take a nice big inhale. Moving through to downward facing dog. So your next alternative is to create a single leg shape. So we bring the feet together. We find high plank, go forwards. Right hand under face. Roll onto the right little toe edge. Find your side plank as we did before. Options from here to work a little stronger, maybe separate the top leg, big starfish. A nice alternative, bend your left foot, placing the toes to the inner thigh or inner calf, not the side of the knee, into your tree pose. From here, you're driving the left knee up, and as you press stronger into this right hip, right glute, notice that my right sole of foot is starting to ground. The left hip here might start to open up. Hold your balance. Keep pushing the floor away. 5, 4, hips up, big rainbow. 3, can you ground right sole of foot? 2, and 1. Yes, good work. Come to plank. Let's crack it on the second side. Feet together, left hand under left shoulder. Roll onto your left little toe. So you want to make sure that you've got a nice straight line, shoulder to wrist. Stack your bones. Once you have your balance, make it stronger, and you really want to feel as though you're pushing the floor away. Option for starfish or maybe into tree pose. Toes touch the inner thigh or inner calf. Try and wrap that top thigh open. Once you get a little stronger, pressing into left hand, can you start to ground the sole of your foot? Pinching super tight through the left side of the waist. Well done, guys. Keep going. Hold it. 5, 4, nice and strong. 3, 2, maybe open the hip and a smidge. And 1, yes. Roll back to plank. Drop the knees. Find child's pose. Nice work, guys. Side plank again. It's strength, it's balance, it's coordination with your limbs. So it takes that time to build into your practice. And I love that there's so many variations to it, because it allows you to sometimes be a bit more gentle and sometimes really go for it and see what happens. So our final variation we're going to look at in this video is going to be our bind. This will take a little more flexibility. So if you can reach your toes, for example. Otherwise, just go back to the variation that was the strongest version for you. So looking at our bound side angle, come back to downward facing dog. Feet come together at the back of the mat. Take the left leg up to the sky. Inhale. And we just stretch the left foot forwards outside the left hand, as we did in that supported variation in the second round. So your bound side plank, all the principles from previous variations apply. Right hand under shoulder. For the purpose of your bind, you might want to bring your back foot a smidge, just half a step, a couple of inches closer. 2 peace fingers wrap around left big toe. Nice and strong. Pull in your belly button so you're already engaged through the core. As you roll onto the little toe edge of your right foot, you start to sweep your left foot up to the sky. And this time we do want the left hip to open. Option to microbend your standing leg so you can ground through the sole of the foot. This will give you a little more reach in your flexibility. Once you have your balance, let that left hip open up. Start to push into your right leg, your standing leg, to see if you can straighten it up. Everything working super tight, super strong. Hold it here for 5. Focus. 4, 3, 2, and one. Let the foot go. Come back to plank. That's a really nice one to transition through to Wild Thing at another time. Take a pause, reset. Well done. Not an easy one, takes a lot of concentration. Make sure your breath is still super smooth. Downward facing dog, we go to the second side. Let's finish it off. Right leg goes high. Right foot to the outside of the right hand. Left hand under left shoulder, stack your bones. Shorten your stance a smidge. Scoop up the belly button so the core is switching on. Peace fingers wrap around that right big toe. You start to roll onto the blade of your left foot, sweeping the right foot up to the sky. You bend the standing leg to create some space. Try and ground left sole of foot. From here, right hip starts to open up. You push the floor away. As your flexibility expands, squeeze into that left leg. Push the floor away. Keep going. 5, 4, open up the hip. 3, focus. 2, and 1. Gently let go and bring it back to the floor. Yes. Woo! That one was intense. Great job, guys. Bring it back to your child's pose. Wobbling is good. That little shake means muscles are getting stronger. Take a nice big deep inhale here. Just bow the head to the ground. And let it go. So you might feel that your heart rate has risen up, the intensity of those last few variations. So just allow your breath to calm down. Feel your heart getting slower. Just take a moment to relax here. When you're ready, just come to sit up, either on the knees or whatever comfortable shape works for you. So that was a little snapshot, a little taster into all the side plank variations that you might come across in your practice. If you've got any questions, guys, please do let me know. Drop them in the comments, get in touch. If I can help, I will certainly try to. Bringing this video to a close. Namaste. Thank you for tuning in, guys. I'll see you in the next video.